Obviously, this hurricane season is getting a lot of attention, and we are now approaching the peak of the season, which happens on September 10th. But sometimes there can be a slight decrease in activity as we ramp things up toward the peak, and that's something we are experiencing now after what has been so far a pretty active hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. Let's take a look at the storm so far this season. I don't really remember Alberto. However, you do remember Beryl, which made landfall and caused devastation around Houston, followed by very briefly Chris, and then Debbie making landfall in Florida, causing a lot of flooding through the southeast, and last week Ernesto making landfall in Bermuda. But right now the Atlantic has actually gone quiet, and it's for the same reason it did a few weeks ago. There are plumes of Saharan dust coming off the west coast of Africa, moving through the atmosphere and drying things out. And when this happens, it can suppress any activity that tries to get going in the Atlantic Basin. And that's what we're seeing for the next 7 days. The National Hurricane Center's outlook is for no development expected, which is good news for a couple of reasons. Obviously, Ernesto just impacted Bermuda. Places still cleaning up from flood damage from Debbie in parts of the southeast. And locally here at home, we get a break from the rain as well after the devastating flooding back on Sunday. It does look like perhaps later next week, activity may start to ramp up again, and that would make sense climatologically as we get closer to that peak in early to mid-September. I'm meteorologist Ryan Breton, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.